Hi there. Okay, now that you guys have had a chance to do notes in class, you understand a little bit more, you're going to watch the video, you're going to fill in your notes, you're going to have a piece of binder paper in case you have any questions that you would like me to go over in class tomorrow. All right, so we're going to get started on section 1.2, which is solving multi-step equations. And in solving multi-step equations, to solve an equation in one variable, simplify each side of the equation if necessary, meaning combining like terms, doing distributive property, then use the inverse operation to isolate the variable. Okay, example 1 and example 2. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do those for you, and then I'm going to ask that you pause the recording so that you can try 1 through 8 on your own. Okay, you can play as you're going through to see if you've gotten the correct answer or not. But I'd always like you to try the problems with the recorder off, and then you can play the recording to check and see if your answers are correct. Okay, so example 1, solving a two-step equation. We want to isolate the variable, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to change the color of that. We're going to subtract 3 from both sides. And over here where it says step 1 and step 2, it's just asking so that you learn the properties that we use. What property allowed you to do this step? And that would be the subtraction, I'm going to abbreviate, subtraction property of equality. And I'm not going to write all the properties down because it's too hard with my Apple Pen, but I'll certainly tell you what the properties are. Okay, so then drawing my line, canceling, bring down my negative 2n equals 6. And then I'm going to get the variable by itself by dividing by negative 2. And that property for step 2 is the division property of equality. Once I do that, I then will get my answer of n equals a negative 3. Okay, please do your check on your notes. That is your way to guarantee that you are getting the correct answers. Negative 2 times a negative 3 plus 3 equal 9. That's going to be a positive 6 plus 3. Yes, it does equal 9, and it checks out. Okay. All right. So for example number 2, there's some terms that we can combine before we start solving. So 9x minus 6x is going to give me a 3x. We want to simplify first before we start solving if we can. Okay, now we're just back to a problem like number 1 in solving this equation. We're going to subtract. So really up here, I would put combine like terms, even though they didn't put a place for step 1. Combine like terms. And then, this is an equal sign. I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides. I owe $12, I owe 15 more. That's a negative 27 equals 3x. And I'm going to divide by 3 both sides. Again, division property of equality. And x is going to equal a negative divided by a positive is always going to be a negative answer, negative 9. When you do get down to your answer, please make sure you put it in a box. I'm going to let you go ahead and check those answers. All right, so at this point, please pause the recording. You guys work 1 through 8. Then you can play it to see if you've gotten the correct answer. Number 1, I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides. 3x equals 15. Now, I'd like you guys to continue working vertically. If you have enough room, and in your notes you should, but I'm going to go ahead out here because I don't have enough room. 3x equals 15. Then I'm going to divide by 3, and x equals 5. And there's my answer. Number 2, remember, subtracting a negative is like taking away a debt. So that negative is going to become a plus sign. Now I can subtract 9 from both sides. Draw my line. 17 minus 9 is going to be 8 equals z. If you want to rewrite it with your variable on the left-hand side, you can. I don't require that, but some kids like it on the left-hand side. And when you type it in the computer, a lot of times it'll only read it if it is on the left-hand side. Number 3, is there anything I can simplify before I start working? Yes, I can simplify 2 plus 4. So that's going to be 15 equals 6 minus d. Now, minus 6 both sides. And I'm going to get 9 equals a negative d. Okay? I cannot have a negative variable. We did this on one of the practice problems. So over here, I'm going to write 9 equals negative d. I'm going to divide through by a negative 1, and d is going to equal a negative 9. Okay? Number 4, we want to get rid of that denominator first. So we're going to go ahead, show a dot, no x. X does not mean multiplication. X is now a variable. So I'm going to show a dot, multiply by 3 on the left, same thing on the right. On the left, my 3's are going to cancel. And I have q plus a negative 5 equals 24. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides. I'm going to write what I get over here. Q equals 29. And there's your answer. Number 5. Now, it's not the whole thing that's divided by 4, it's just the first term. So I can go ahead and start with my subtraction. Minus 5, so I'm going to add 5 to both sides. And f over 4 equals negative 9 plus 5 is going to be a negative 4. Now they have divided the variable by 4, so I'm going to multiply by 4, both sides. And f is going to equal a negative 16. Negative 16. Number 6, combine like terms before you start. 5x plus 3x is 8x equals 28. Divide by 8. No, it doesn't go into it evenly. That's okay. When we are solving equations, we always want to leave our answer in an improper fraction. Please do not change them to mixed numbers in algebra. But we do want to make sure that they are simplified. So 28 over 8, 4 goes into both of those. My answer is going to be 7 halves. Okay? I divided top and bottom by 4 to get 7 halves. Number 7, 12x plus 2x. Doesn't matter that they're not right next to each other. I still can combine them. 14x plus 4 equals 39. Minus 4 minus 4. 14x equals 35. Again, it's okay. 14 doesn't go into 35 evenly. It's okay for your answer to end up a fraction. A fraction is a real number on a number line. Again, I'm going to simplify, divide top and bottom by 7, and get 5 halves. And there's your answer. Number 8, 5z minus 2z, 3z. Minus 4 equals negative 7. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. 3z equals 3. Divide by 3. And z equals 1. All right. Okay, so for the second page, let's see, guys. I'm not quite sure why my picture is rotated like that. So, let's see what I'm going to do here. Well, to get through these notes today, I'm just going to go ahead and hopefully you guys can be able to see what I'm doing here. I promise you I'll figure it out for the next one. All right, so now our problems are going to have a little bit of distributed property in them. So 2 times 1 is going to be 2, And remember, the negative goes with the x. So 2 times the negative x is minus 2x plus 3 equals negative 8. So our first step was distributive property, okay? And then I'm going to look to see if I can simplify anything, and I can. 2 plus 3. So that's going to be 5 minus 2x equals 8. And that is by combining like terms. And then I can start solving my equation from there. So minus 5 both sides, which is our subtraction property of equality. Bring down the negative 2x equals 3. Remember, it's okay if I end up with a fraction. And x is going to equal a negative 3 halves. Okay, please do not put the negative sign in the denominator. Put it on top or out to the side. All right, and then of course you're going to go ahead and do your check. So at this point, pause your computer, pause the video, go ahead and you try 1 through 4, and then you can play it to see if you got the correct answers. Number 1, distributive property, 3z plus 21 equals 21, minus 21, minus 21, 3z equals 0. Don't freak out. Keep going. It's okay. 0 divided by anything is going to equal 0. If I have nothing, it doesn't matter how many times I divide it up, I'm still going to have nothing. Z equals 0. Number 2, negative 4 times z, negative 4z. Remember, this sign goes with this, so it's a negative 4 times a negative 12, which is a negative 48 equals 42. Now I can solve, plus 48 both sides. Negative 4z equals, there is, we had a negative 4, so that's going to be a positive. I caught my mistake there. That's going to be a positive. This is going to be a negative. This is going to be a negative. Caught my mistake. 42 minus 48 is going to be a negative 6. Divide by a negative 4. And again, negative by a negative is a positive, but I want to simplify that fraction into 3 halves. Okay. Number 3. I'm going to erase this a little bit so I can at least see what my number is here. There we go. 33 equals 12r. That minus sign goes with the 3. So minus 27. Minus 27, let's see what that sign is there. That's a negative also. So that's going to be a negative 3, negative r. That's going to be plus 3r. Now I can combine my like terms. 12r plus 3r equals 15r minus 27. Add 27 to both sides. That's going to be 60 equals 15r. Divide by 15, and r is going to equal 4. Number 4, 7 plus 6g. 3 times a negative 6 minus 18 equals a negative 29. Combine my like terms, right? 7 minus 18 is going to be a negative 11. Plus 6g equals negative 29. And add 11 to both sides. 6g equals negative 29, negative 19, negative 18. Divide by 6, and g equals a negative 3. And there you go. You guys have completed 1.2 notes. Please remember, if you have any questions or would like me to go over any problems in class,